This digitized universal logo does not really make sense for a Pacific Rim sequel. I mean, first of all, movie-specific unique logos are typically reserved for surefire hits, not sequels most everyone expects nothing from. Second of all, it's a movie about giant robots fighting giant monsters. It's not the f***ing Matrix. Why are you digitizing like we're Wreck-It Ralphing into the internet for this adventure? Third of all, digitize Comcast. Also, the grand total of logos is 42 seconds, and that offends me.
My generation, we were born into war.
Jaegeration.
Giant monsters attacked our world.
Previously on Pacific Rim.
They came through the breach, a gateway to another dimension.
Damn, this first 30 seconds of dialogue is so exposition and footage heavy that I'm now convinced the original movie could have been much shorter.
Most of the world's recovered, but a few coastal cities never did, and the world is still picking up the pieces.
Honestly think this was written by a middle schooler. Go back over that and see if those statements make any sense when taken together. Most of the world is recovered, but a few coastal cities never did, and the world is still picking up the pieces? What?
Some of us live better in a broken world, and squatting.
Wait, but if the coastal towns have been essentially abandoned, how does Jake keep this house fully powered and operational? There's no infrastructure, and the power grid has to be toast. Not to mention, look how clean that f***ing pool is, even after a wild party.
In the relief zones, you have to get creative.
Did he just trade an Oscar for some cereal? I mean, that's neat, I guess, but it doesn't tell me anything about this economy at all, except that gold or cereal or both is greatly misvalued.
Plenty of nutcases out here trying to slap together their own Jaegers.
You might call them Jägermeisters.
Somebody please kill this guy for me.
Villainous character asks one of his henchmen to kill protagonist instead of easily doing it himself cliché.
We're good.
Jake somehow knew exactly when those cargo doors were closing, and that they would be bulletproof. I guess we've established that this motherfucker's Superman, so can we just get to the Jaegering already?
Hey! Get back here with that!
I'd have actually removed 1,000 sins if this worked. This could literally be a shot from one of the Transformers sequels, and you'd never know the difference.
Target moving.
Meanwhile, 12 hours later, after nothing happened that you might want to see. Hey, this expositional wall of news clippings doubles as a premature celebration cliché. Jake comes around this corner and is so obsessed with the overhead cables he doesn't see the Jaeger robot until after a few seconds. I'm calling bullshit. The movie wanted to whammy reveal the viewer, and so they did it to the protagonist as well, even though that ultimately makes no sense. Holy shit, how'd they get Paramount to sign off on a Bumblebee cameo for this thing? Wait, this is Amara's primary home security system? She's got a goddamn Jaeger sitting in her workshop, but leaves her windows unlocked, and leaves the path to the workshop unblocked, and doesn't even have a fucking gun or something if someone walks in.
It works!
And on the first try, under duress from an impending security breach. What luck? This asshole starts running for cover, even though Scrapper hasn't broken out, nor really made a sound at this point.
Stop.
Just a reminder, this is Amara's first fucking time using this Jaeger, and yet she's able to control it perfectly, jumping around all nimbly-bimbly from rock to rock. Unnecessary slow-mo of Zack Snyder meets unnecessary building destruction of Michael Bay. Sackle Bay? Mikey Snyder? Michael Snide Bay? I have a dozen jokes written about how this movie is basically a combo ripoff of Transformers, Power Rangers, and Godzilla, and they're all true. And this moment is as good as any to give the film 36 sins at once. One for each of the dozen jokes I left out of the script, times 3 each for the movies this thing is clearly ripping off, hence 36. I showed my math.
How long before Ajax can reboot his systems?
About that long.
Haha, Jake, but apparently it took Ajax like 1 second, considering he rebooted, tracked Scrapper to its exact location, and caught up to a pretty significant distance. So you wasted that f***ing backup battery for 1 second.
Power down. This is your final warning.
If the kaiju were defeated a decade ago, why are the skyscraper-sized Jaegers being used as police in the present day? Granted, this girl is using a small personal Jaegerbot, and maybe typical police can't bring that down, but it's being suggested this ginormous Jaeger is actively patrolling the streets stopping crime, and that's wasteful as f***. Amara must have programmed Scrapper to attend the Prometheus school of running away from Jaegers. In the future, not only are jail cells co-ed, they'll throw grown adults in there with the adolescents.
Your top lip and your bottom lip, they need to meet and become
Smart,
friends.
that's a good
need to
one.
close up, all right? Shut up.
Jake says this to a child, by the way, even though he broke into Amara's house, hijacked her Jaeger, and f***ed her power source. Remind me why we're rooting for this guy again?
Train what? I'm not training no damn kids.
Jeez, can Jake be any more Han Solo in this movie? As this plane copter lands, I'll take this moment to point out that everything about this movie feels JV. The cast, other than John Boyega, the effects, the script, the f***ing sound effects.
Why do they want me for the program?
You built and piloted your own Jaeger. These people like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but have they sent everyone that built a knockoff Jaeger to the training academy? Didn't they just say they were fairly common?
Did that haircut just call you Pentecost?
It depends. Did you just call that dude a haircut?
You know you still hold the record?
What record?
Shut up.
Jesus Christ, this dialogue can't make up its mind between being overtly expositional and offensively antagonistic.
So how'd they lure you back? I mean, it couldn't have been the pay.
They used an ancient persuasive technique known as screenwriting.
You need all the showers you can get, man.
Have a musk.
You know, I like this movie better when it was called Starship Enders, Troopers, Aliens, Kingsman's Game.
We're gonna be trained by Pentecost.
So, not like he was the one who died helping close the breach.
This girl's mean, but she's right enough she'd fit right in here at Team CinemaSins.
You want to put junk together, be a mechanic. Moylan is for pilots.
Jesus, lady. I know all movies feel they need a bully secondary antagonist and but do pilots and mechanics really beef in this universe like the sharks and the jets? Also, you asked her about her Jaeger, and she was actually talking about piloting it when you interrupted to be a jerkface.
Yeah, what's her problem? Took her 3 shots to pass the entrance test.
Yeah, don't think she likes how you landed here.
Isn't Vic sitting very nearby within easy earshot of this conversation? Discount Kobayashi Maru.
I thought we might have something here. Now I'm not so sure.
I'm sure a lot of people said this about Scott Eastwood's acting ability.
Well, maybe she's not the only one that doesn't belong here.
That's racist. Also, why are they here? Jake's hologram sister just randomly showed up to the coastal jail he was sent to, then arranged a transport for him and Amara to get into this highly selective training program. I mean, does this plot mean jack except for the lead up to the inevitable monster mash?
Show our new recruit how it's done.
Man, not Chris Evans is a dick. This righteous raging roidy ranger requires remedial ranger management rehabilitation. Also, does this movie realize how divergent it feels and how not a good thing that is? Oh yeah, everyone has that shelf in the fridge that holds multiple cans of whipped cream, which is right in front of the beer, which is right in front of a slew of lemons just hanging out in the back. I call it the whipped beer lemon shelf.
You want a drink?
Sure. Ice cream's up top.
I know he's British of some variety, but goddamn dude, beer and ice cream? Do you hate your taste buds?
You have to understand your enemy.
So, is this movie now trying to slip in some jokiness? Or is it the self-serious substandard effects romp we've been getting so far? Make up your mind, damn it.
Shao and her team are presenting this new drone program they have. Could make us all obsolete.
Wait, isn't this something that Jake should not only know about, but should be thrilled about? The training is the only thing he's here for, and if they're obsolete, that's it. But all he can muster is mild bemusement? What the hell is with this movie?
She doesn't do the whole handshaking thing, Dr. Newton Geisler.
Charlie Day's trying to express the cool of 90s-era Christian Slater, but has the role of a hyperactive John Turturro.
This will only take a moment. I know how busy you are.
Man, this character sure looks like someone saw the pizza delivery guys act in There's Something About Mary and made it into an actual person.
Is that kaiju blood?
FYI, kaiju blood is now super fuel. Eat your heart out, Last Jedi.
现在投票结果还没出来，不要再和他有任何联系。
Whatever, Dad.
Don't make me question your loyalty. Understand?
Between you, his boss, and that other science guy, how insecure are you about your drones to go full ultimatum no contact here after the mere mention of rocket boosters on Jaegers?
And you think a bunch of desk jockeys are better than us?
Well, considering this movie's gone almost 30 minutes without anyone Jaegering except for Amara, I'm inclined to believe President Business here.
I don't trust the tech. Not yet, at least.
Well, it looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I saw a 45-second presentation that relied solely on buzzwords and holograms. Seems to check out. In case you confused it for Sidney Bristow. I'd suggest it's insane to think that future humans would worship oversized, hungry monsters, but I've been paying attention to world politics the last couple years, and it's hard to laugh about. Also, you know what I like in my movies about interdimensional punching? Geopolitical protests.
3, 2, 1, drop.
Damn, could you not drop the Jaeger a little further away from the crowd? I know you're probably not going to hit them, but that was a drop from a disturbingly long distance and could have easily gone wrong.
So I'd appreciate if you'd stop thinking about Jules. Not gonna happen.
Jules? Oh, you mean that fully realized female character that was featured in all of 30 seconds of this movie, immediately attracting the main character from her looks alone? Totally know who that is.
This is command.
Be advised that we have a rogue Jaeger.
How the f does something that large and requiring of such specific training to use even get stolen or built by terrorists without your knowing? Oh good, Jake caught that probably empty helipad and saved a few assholes that we're pretty sure are assholes. And also, who cares about those other people that were likely in the building itself?
It's jamming our comms!
The f***? What a hilariously specific thing for a Jaeger to do. That robot from the first Thor movie is kicking Finn's ass. Rock'em sock'em no bots. Oh Jesus, they have lightsaber swords now? Me with a copy of a dildo in the shape of an original movie. Yeah, all these people that seem to be surviving right now in this shot, they're all dead. I hope your personal awe meter got high enough to make it worth this movie killing more downtown humans than Man of Steel.
What do we do? Follow my lead.
You mean punch him really hard?
Activate gravity sling.
Let's play multiple choice. Gravity sling is A, space traveler's sex apparatus, B, a newfangled rock projectile device, C, an electro swing act out of Billings, Montana, or D, some technobabble a screenwriter made up that only sort of means something. Also, are they absolutely positive there are no humans in those cars? Because I don't think they checked if there were any humans in those cars. Now you know how Kevin Dyson felt. Ah, that's a real shame. If Mako were in Suicide Squad, she'd be right as rain. He's scared of the incoming 3 Jaegers and walks into the bay, and we cut away, suggesting no one followed him, and the 3 Jaegers just landed 20 seconds later and collectively decided water was bad and boring and scary, so they went for a hot dog. Do I have that right?
We have to make a good connection. They can't do that if you're yapping your gums.
Really feels like 48% of this movie is Jake telling Amara to shut up in various ways. Pacific Rim Pentecostal Drift.
Cheese.
Amara's like 15 years old, which means this memory would be in 2025 or later. But you're telling me that Polaroid knockoffs are still used? Hell, nobody uses them in 2018 except dedicated hipsters and Taylor Swift.
Jump!
Casual kaiju kill.
I don't want to know who was piloting that rogue Jaeger.
But not enough to do any investigating immediately after the attack. I like to let those things marinate for a couple days.
委员会要求我们48小时之内完成全面部署。
48 is...
How the hell would Newton not know this? It's his job to get these drones to roll out, but I guess Exposition McDemanding had to wait until just now to tell him he's on severe deadline. And does he know this is happening, since he's already got kaiju syndrome? Cause he looks pretty surprised here. So Newt has a secret kaiju, Luke Skywalkering in a vertical tube of water, and that's a problem, both in-movie and externally from a lazy narrative point of view.
They're calling it Obsidian Fury.
Who are they? Is there a Jaeger naming committee, like the one at the National Weather Service that names all the hurricanes? And given the name Obsidian Fury, how dramatic are those assholes?
I'm not gonna wash out. I'm gonna be a pilot.
They couldn't have telegraphed this poor bastard's death more if they'd have had him wear a red shirt.
Bigger is better. Idinafig.
Wow, Discount Shailene Woodley learned a proper Russian insult in basically a day, or less. I don't know, this movie's playing fast and loose with time, and it seems way too soon for her to know Russian insults. That's my main point.
Mission to take Gypsy Avenger to see what the hell's out there.
Why not just reposition the satellites? Wait, he walked here? You didn't even use the drones to fly him most of the way here and drop him off? How much fuel did you waste on that?
Looks like Mako's message was a dead end.
You flew all the way up to Siberia, suited up the Jaeger, walked a few feet, looked at this landscape for 10 goddamn seconds, and you're immediately ready to throw in the towel? I know they want to take this Fury Road out and all, but Jake and Nate just willingly throw themselves into the Balrog pit with no regard for Gypsy Avenger. They should all die from this regardless, right?
Plasma cannon!
Yes, we want to see these Jaeger fights in all their glory, but what's really frustrating is trying to figure out what these f***ers can and can't do, and why they have effective attacks but neglect to use them. Like, instead of punching the dickhead at the beginning of the fight, why not use the very useful plasma cannon? That rogue Jaeger was piloted by a meatwad? Bruce Almighty takes a break from the nighttime and brings us a ginormous sun for a change.
Never would be good.
You guys can stay here?
Here in the studio green screen room of non-reality, please don't make me stay here. It's so fake and green screeny.
What is it?
I don't know, but if I've learned anything from Fantastic Four and Alien movies, by God, I'm gonna grab it with my bare hands.
You're dismissed from the program.
Dude, come on. They all wandered around a f***ing Jaeger body and spent all of 20 seconds in there. Sure, Amara's partner got a little hurt, but is that really an expellable offense? And only Amara?
I'm sorry. You don't deserve this.
No, you don't deserve this scene, movie, as you spent nowhere near enough time on these barracks to earn this rando co-cadet actually caring about her right now.
Amara, the next Jaeger you build, make it a big one.
Frenemies, am I right?
100%! That's the way that it's done, okay? I told you we could do it, and we did it!
The director said, I'd like Charlie Day to be Charlie Day in this scene, but set to 139%. Oh man, it looks like these Jaeger drones are iRoboting all over the base. Listen, I'm telling you, nothing matters in this movie so long as we get the 360 circular hero shot of the 15-year-old girl in a raincoat. We get that shot, this thing sucks up money like a veritable vacuum machine. Hot girl saves hot guy from falling debris, and I have lost track of how many better movies this thing is ripping off. Movie cuts from a catastrophic scene to a shot of an elevator playing cheesy music cliche.
What did you just do? What I've been planning the last 10 years? I'm ending the world.
But why now? And how was brainwashed Newt acting so much like regular Newt? God damn, I know this sets up a giant climactic battle and but this movie makes no sense. Man, these circle jerks are always awkward. There's gotta be one guy that looks over at you. So a bunch of human-controlled drone bots are going to laser blast the ocean floor in order to reopen the breach and let in more kaiju. All because Charlie Day was pissed that Fistfight didn't do better at the box office?
Drones in the field are opening multiple breaches across the Pacific Rim.
Roll Jaegers! Why did the precursors taking over the Jaegers cause the growth of robot shoulder spikes?
38% of your company is fully automated. It really wasn't very hard to reallocate a little over here and a little over there.
Isn't it a little early for the villain to be expositing his master plan? We've still got almost 35 minutes and 35 million of CGI to waste before we're done with this shit show. Movie saves money by inserting a few scenes from Tommy Lee Jones' Volcano movie.
Yeah, I bet Newt would know what they're up to.
Yeah, we'd have to find him first.
But Chow ordered security to find Newt immediately after he left the room, and he was in the building. Isn't that a secure f***ing building? God damn, this movie could try and explain something. Anything.
Well, right here. Mount Fuji, Japan.
In case you confused it with Mount Fuji, Ohio. The movie wisely speeds up frequently throughout this scene about the building of the world's most giant and disingenuous Lego structure ever. Oh, hi, Jules. Glad to see they came up with something for you to do.
Normal handshake, strong and steady.
But how did Amara learn that? The last time we saw her attempt to drift, she sucked ass and watched her family die again. So she's suddenly able to do it now just because Jake's speech got her fired up? Wait, the kaiju have been on the moon for hours, if not days at this point, and the PPDC know exactly where they're going. So why is there anyone left on the streets of Tokyo? Man, I'd hate to be watching A Quiet Place in the adjacent theater to this bull.
Everyone in the city is secured in underground shelters.
Well, except for the several thousand people that literally just experienced a brutal but cinematic death on screen. Sure, they've ostensibly cleared the city of people, but dude, think about unnecessary property damage. Real estate's expensive in Tokyo. Huh, I guess this kaiju's wearing that Black Panther energy transfer suit tech.
How many buildings can this thing take?
I don't know, how many are left in Tokyo at this point? Like, can you try anything other than an architecture-based attack?
Okay, we're going with giant robots again. All right, real original, guys.
I can only assume this was Guillermo del Toro's reaction when the studio asked him to direct this sequel. Listen, I know we've got to build bigger, better kaiju for the heroes to eventually kill, but why would they wait to attack until after it's been roided up?
Guardians, stand down! We've got this!
They've got this.
Brace of Phoenix, report.
We're a little banged up, but we're still in the fight.
Man, it sure is nice for Mega Kaiju to take so long to attack again.
Stand by for assist!
Okay, maybe Amara's been listening to the communications with the command center and knows that Nate's hurt, but if that's the case, why hasn't anyone been communicating with each other since they were attacked? The movie's essentially making us believe that Amara just knows that she's gotta get to the gypsy, which is some kaiju-sized bull.
What are you doing? Get the hell out of your way. You got this, brother.
Yep, I'm sure you'll be perfectly fine with this child that's displayed limited skills with large Jaegers and would in no way suggest using the other more experienced pilots as a replacement for me. Godspeed. Scrapper survives this. Holy Xiao's seriously welding directly next to an incredibly unstable power source. This movie gives a big old middle finger to science.
I'm sorry, Smalley.
For what? We got to save the world!
I mean, probably, but there's really no guarantee this plan will work, right?
20 kilometers to impact.
Man, the last third of Bern Gorman's performance in this movie is comprised of dramatically shouting directly at the camera, usually with a Dutch angle. Dude, you're right there. If Mega Kaiju doesn't sound his barbaric yop here, movie's over. Also, the world. Wait, if Nate had enough strength to survive the ejection, locate Newt, get all the way up to the top of the Shao building, and take his ass out, you're telling me he couldn't contribute to the Jaeger at the end of the fight? Nate.
You think you saved your crappy little world? We're gonna keep coming!
Charlie Day dedicates his performance in the last scene to Jesse Eisenberg's version of Lex Luthor.
My generation, we were born into war.
Don't tase me, bro! Don't tase me!
Hello, Lex, it is a pleasure. Ow! Wow, that is a good grip. You should not pick a fight with this person.
Looks like Mako's message was a dead end.
Phrasing?
And you think a bunch of desk jockeys are better than us.
Oh, so now you think you're better than me?
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out? How you doing, Nate?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
We've been inside each other's heads, right? We've saved the world. We've drifted with a kaiju.
Together we burn the village! We plunder! Plunder!
This is the end.
100%, that's the way that it's